making money over money. And I understand at the time you don't have money right now to do both, open a pizzeria and purchase the property. 2, make sure you get first right of refusal. If the landlord doesn't want to give you that option to buy, but down the line in 20 years he may be like, hey, I want to sell it, make sure you get that option to buy and the landlord doesn't sell it under you, and you're protecting the property. You know, you might have a different landlord, he might drive you crazy, or this new landlord may push you out because he's got a daughter that just got married to some schlep and he wants to put this guy in business. 3, make sure your lease is assignable. When you negotiate this lease and one day something happens and you want to sell, if you're not allowed to assign that lease to another buyer, you're screwed. Your piece of business, your real estate that you just built for this guy, that pizzeria, is worth zilch. 4, long-term lease control. Make sure in order to build value, you want, let's say, a 10-year with 3 5-year options, or a 5-year with 3 5-year options. The longer the better. The longer your lease, the more value you have when you try to sell it. The best return on investment is owning that property. So always in your head, you might not be able to afford it today. We started poor, but we were able, because when we first started, properties weren't that busy. But if you have a successful pizzeria, you're going to do well. You'll become a millionaire, right? Every successful pizzeria guy I know has money. They work 70 hours a week, but they do well. Majority of them own the real estate. You have to own the real estate, guys. Number 5, you want to make sure you control your rent increases. You don't want it to, you know, after 5 years, it escalates 10, 20, 30%. Have a reasonable 2%, 3% per year. Usually 2% is the average. Every 5 years, your rent goes up by 10%. You could do it per year, or every 5 years it goes up 10%, which isn't bad. Number 6, make sure you have a non-compete clause, meaning he cannot lease to another operator that sells pizza. You don't want, you know, Joe's Pizza, and then all of a sudden Paisan's opens up next to you. Now you're screwed. Now they're forcing you out. And then 7, you'll want to try to negotiate in this lease. You're putting all this money in there, right? You want some kind of build-out money, improvement money. Look, I'm putting $500,000 in your property. If I ever leave, you're going to have $500,000 worth of kitchens, ovens, everything. So you try to get some kind of credit. Well, they give you a $100,000 credit, a $200,000 credit. A lot of times landlords will give you 6 months free rent, 1 year free rent. So that helps, especially when you're dealing with a developer. So these are the top 7 items that I believe you should have in your lease if you can't afford to buy.